What's up guys, today we're making these mini cheesecakes so delicious. Now before we start this recipe, you're going to want to take out some of your key ingredients to reach room temperature, which are 8 ounces of cream cheese, 1 egg, and 1.5 tablespoons of full fat sour cream. Okay, let's talk about the equipment you're going to need in this recipe. You could use a mini cheesecake pan, but if you're like me or the rest of us and you don't have one, a cupcake pan with some paper liners works just as good. Now this recipe makes 12 servings, so you're only going to need 1 pan and 12 paper liners. Let's begin with our graham cracker crust. Grab a small bowl, add 2/3 cup graham cracker crumbs, 1 tablespoon of sugar, and 2 tablespoons of salted butter, melted. Grab a fork and mix that up. Now you're looking for a wet sand consistency. Bring back over your cupcake pan with the liners, grab a tablespoon, and we're going to add a tablespoon of this mixture to each one of our cupcake liners. Once all your mixture is in, you could use the back of your tablespoon to flatten these out, but me, I find that a shot glass or a little bottle cap like this works best for getting around those edges. Then we're going to bake these 350 degrees for 18 to 20 minutes. We got our stand mixer, bowl with the paddle attachment, 8 ounces of cream cheese going in. Mix this on medium speed for about 2 to 3 minutes. Scrape down the sides of your bowl and your paddle attachment. Then put this back on the mix for another minute. Then add 1/3 cup of granulated sugar, your 1.5 tablespoons of sour cream, 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract, 2 teaspoons of heavy cream, and 1 tablespoon of cornstarch. Mix this on low speed until everything is combined. And while that's mixing, grab your 1 egg, crack it into your bowl, grab a fork, and we're going to whisk this up. Scrape down the sides of your bowl and your paddle attachment again. Then once again on low speed, we're going to add our egg mixture and mix until it's just barely combined. Once everything is mixed, we're going to tap the bottom of this a couple of times to release some of those air bubbles. After that, we're going to take a spoonful of our mixture, about 2 tablespoons, and fill each one of our cupcake liners. Then we're going to bake this at 300 degrees for 18 to 22 minutes. Okay, after you take your mini cheesecakes out the oven, you should notice that the edges are nice and firm and they should have a slight wiggle to them. Okay, let them cool on the counter for about 2 hours and then move them to the fridge for about 2 hours. Okay, while our cheesecakes are cooling, let's make our strawberry glaze. You're going to need about 12 strawberries. We're going to clean them, so grab a large bowl, add about 2 tablespoons of baking soda, about 1 teaspoon of salt, fill your bowl up with water, add your strawberries, mix them around, and then let them soak in this mixture for about 15 minutes. After that, drain them, rinse them, drain them again. Okay, let's make our strawberry topping. 2 cups of strawberries diced into a medium saucepan, 2 tablespoons of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of fresh lemon or lime juice, which for me was about 1 whole lime. In a separate bowl, add 1 teaspoon of cornstarch and 1 tablespoon of room temperature water. Whisk that together. Then add it right to your strawberry mixture. Give that a good mix, then bring this over to the stove, medium heat, bring this to a simmer, lower the heat, simmer for about 5 minutes. Now if you want this on the thicker side with some of those strawberries still intact, get a potato masher and mash it until it's your desired consistency. Now if you want it a little bit more smoother, something you can drizzle, I'm going to use an immersion blender. You can use that or pour this once it's cooled slightly into a blender and blend it up until your desired consistency. Alright, this video is getting long, let's wrap it up. I'm going to use one of these golden cake liners to put my cheesecakes on. Alright, let's get our cheesecakes out of the fridge. Now remember, you don't have to unwrap these. You can leave them in the tinfoil depending on what you want to do with them. They might even be easier to decorate and transport if you leave them in the tinfoil. However, I'm going to take mine out of the tinfoil to decorate and take some pictures. Okay, everything is ready to go. A couple of these we're going to make with the strawberry topping. A couple we're going to do some pineapple topping. After we got all the toppings on, we're going to go in with some whipped cream on all of these. And we're going to top each one of those with a fresh strawberry. Woo! Alright, I got a fresh cup of coffee. Let's give these a try. Alright, let's grab one of these up. First contender, the strawberry, and let me just say it was magnificent. The strawberry topping, ooh man, that thing is good. The cheesecake is decadent. The whipped cream is creamy. That strawberry on top is like the freaking cherry on top, or I guess you would say strawberry on top. Anyway, the strawberry one, that was good. That was hitting. Alright, next up the pineapple one. Now, if you never had pineapple on cheesecake, pineapple goes really good with cheesecake. I mean, it was sweet. It had the right amount of tang, but cheesecake is also tangy, but the sweetness in the pineapple topping also, you know, it kind of balances it out. So the pineapple one is really good. Alright, now the last one we're going to try is the classic plain cheesecake. I mean, you can't go wrong with plain cheesecake. And I know what you're thinking, that I really eat 3 cheesecakes. Yes, I really did eat 3 of these, and after the camera went off, I ate 3 more. Now, if you make this, you're going to see why. Okay, these are so good. Anyway, that's it for me in this video, guys. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, and for our last part in our 3-part series, we're going to make dessert. We're going to make the most absolute delicious Oreo cheesecake. And this recipe is foolproof. It's crack proof. You're going to love it. Okay, now let's go over our ingredients. For the cheesecake, it's very simple. You're gonna need 5 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese. We're gonna need a half a cup of sour cream, 4 large eggs, and you want all of this to be at room temperature. So take it out about 2 hours before you're ready to make your cheesecake. Then we're either gonna need some pure vanilla extract or some vanilla bean seeds. And of course, some white granulated sugar. Now for the Oreo part of our cheesecake, we're gonna need, of course, some Oreos. These are double stuffed, yours don't have to be. Okay, now for our crust, we're gonna count out 28 Oreos. Very specific here, has to be 28. Okay, we got our 28 Oreos for our crust. The rest we're gonna save later for our garnish, so be careful not to eat one. Okay, maybe just one. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is take our Oreos and grind them in our food processor until they're nice and fine. Coffee, anyone? And we're gonna add all of our Oreo crumbs to a bowl. Now this is where the real fun begins. And I just wanna do a quick side note here. I recommend if you're gonna make this that you use the regular Oreos. If you're gonna use the double stuff like I did, you could probably use about 21 to 22 Oreos as opposed to 28 of the Oreos if you use the regular ones. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so to our Oreo crumbs, we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of melted butter. Grab a fork. We're gonna mix this in. Okay, we got a little loose mud action going on. That's what you want. Okay, we're gonna take an ungreased 9-inch springform pan. Gonna dump our Oreo mixture right in. Okay, press it down, flatten it out, get it all around the sides. Can go around the edges with a spoon, make it nice and level. Okay, once you got it exactly where you like it, we're gonna bake this in a 350-degree oven for 8 to 9 minutes. Okay, so once your crust is very firm to the touch, we're ready to go. So we're gonna let this cool while we work on our cheesecake. Okay, over at the counter, we got our stand mixer, paddle attachment, and our stand mixer bowl. The whole 9 yards. So we're gonna add our cream cheese to our stand mixer bowl. Okay, with all our cream cheese in, we're gonna put our bowl into our stand mixer. Just the cream cheese. And we're gonna mix this for about 30 seconds on low speed. Just to get our cream cheese nice and mixed up. Okay, after 30 seconds, we're gonna go in with half a cup of sour cream, 1 cup, plus 1/4 cup of granulated sugar, and 2 teaspoons of your vanilla extract or your vanilla bean seeds. Now since we're doing Oreo cheesecake, I'm just gonna go with the vanilla extract. So we're gonna add 2 teaspoons of that. Okie dokie, hokey pokey. We're gonna turn our mixer back on to medium-low speed and mix this until everything is incorporated. Okay, we're gonna stop. Scrape down the sides of the bowl, scrape off the paddle attachment. Okay, and we're gonna go back in. Mix everything again for about 30 seconds. Okay, we're gonna stop that. We're gonna let this rest for a second. Okay, we're gonna crack our eggs into a separate container. Okay, we're gonna give this a good mix. Warp speed! Okay, so with our mixer on low speed, we're gonna slowly add all of our eggs. Okay, so once your eggs are just barely mixed in, we're gonna stop this. We're gonna scrape down everything. Scrape down the sides, scrape down the bottom. Make sure you get on the bottom. Get in there nice and deep, as they say, or so I heard. Okay, with everything scraped down, we're gonna go ahead and lower this and we're gonna mix this one last time on low speed for 30 seconds. Don't overmix it. Okay, so we're gonna scrape down everything one last time. And if you're wondering, yes, this is a new spatula. I was being stupid and the other one fell on the floor, so I had to get a new one. Okay, so this next step is very important. Don't skip it. Actually, don't skip any of the steps, but this one especially. So we're gonna take some towels, put them down, and get our cheesecake mix, and we're gonna pound this for about 45 seconds, my typical Friday night, until all those air bubbles start to rise to the top. Oh, the neighbors are gonna love you. Okay, once you pounded your anger away, we're going to pour our cheesecake over our cooled Oreo pie crust. Okay, once you got your cheesecake, everything in and nice and smooth out, very important instructions. We're gonna bake this 325 degrees for 30 minutes. Just follow me here. 325 degrees for 30 minutes. Then I'll show you the next step. And there's the oven. So once that 30 minutes is over, we're gonna turn our oven down to 250. And we're gonna continue baking for another 45 minutes. Okay, so after that 45 minutes, we're gonna turn the oven completely off. We're gonna leave the cheesecake in the oven with the door closed for 30 minutes. For some carryover cooking. Okay, so once that 30 minutes is up, we have a couple more steps. So now what we're gonna do, again, the oven is off, crack the door open, just a crack. And I like to use this little wooden spoon, kind of keep it open the perfect amount. So we're gonna crack our oven door and set the timer for 1 hour. And the whole reason you're doing this is because if your cheesecake cools down too quickly, you're gonna get a crack in it. Now it might seem small at first, but by the end it's gonna be the size of the Grand Canyon, and you don't want that. So we're gonna let our cheesecake cool down nice and slow. Okay, so here's the deal. We removed our cheesecake from the oven. Now we're gonna let this cool on the counter to room temperature, which is gonna take about 3 to 4 hours. Okay everyone, it's been about 3 hours later. As you can see, all our hard work paid off. Our cheesecake has no cracks. So what we're gonna do now, we're gonna cover this loosely with some aluminum foil. Then we're gonna put this into our fridge for preferably overnight, but you could go as little as 6 hours if you're in a rush. I'm gonna do overnight. I'll see you guys tomorrow. It's the next day, and we got our cheesecake out of our springform pan. Now it's time to work some magic and decorate it. Okay, now for the topping to our Oreo cheesecake, we're gonna go back to our food processor. We're gonna add about 5 or 6 Oreos. Same thing, blend them, grind them until they're nice and fine. We're gonna take our Oreo crumbs and we're gonna sprinkle them over the top of our cheesecake. Now, if you want, you could just go ahead and use a spoon or your hands and evenly distribute them over the cheesecake. Me, I'm gonna use a sifter just to give it more of a softer, lighter look. You can go as light or as dark as you want here. I'm gonna go pretty dark. Okay, I'm gonna sprinkle some more on around the edges. If you want, you can take a spoon, just even it out. Now, any extra Oreo crumbs you have left, save them, because we're gonna use them to make some cookies and cream frosting. Okay, back to our trusty dusty stand mixer. We're gonna be using the paddle attachment. Our bowl. To our bowl, we're gonna add 1 stick of softened butter. Okay, now we're going to beat our butter on medium speed for about 5 minutes until it's nice and fluffy. Okay, so our butter is nice and pale, fluffy, which is what you want. Now we're gonna add 2 cups of powdered sugar on low speed. Okay, once all your powdered sugar is in, your frosting is probably gonna be looking a little rough. So now we're gonna add 1 to 2 teaspoons of our vanilla extract. And then we're gonna add a couple tablespoons of milk. Now we're gonna start out with 1 tablespoon and see where we go from there, see how the consistency is looking. Let this mix in for about a minute or 2. Okay, our icing is nice and smooth. I probably only added about, I wanna say, a tablespoon of milk, since we only used 1 stick of butter and 2 cups of powdered sugar. We're gonna add our Oreo crumbs to make this cookies and cream. And then we're gonna start off with about a tablespoon of our Oreo crumbs. Alright, that looks perfect. So, we're gonna get this up, scrape the sides of the bowl, and move on to our next step, which is gonna be decorating. Cookies and cream frosting for our Oreo cheesecake. Okay, so we got a piping bag. We're gonna use a star tip. Gonna put this in here, cut off the tip, just the tip. Okay, let's rock and roll. Okay, we got our cheesecake, some leftover Oreos, and our icing. Let's begin decorating. So what I'm gonna do is start right here. We'll call it 12 o'clock. Make a little swirl. Go right across, call it 6 o'clock. Another swirl. 1 at 3. 1 at 9. Then we'll go around and fill in the gaps. So now we're gonna take an Oreo, we're gonna place it right on top of our frosting. We're gonna go around and do the same thing all over. Our Oreo cheesecake is done. My kitchen is wrecked, but it's worth it if you made this for somebody you love. And I made it for myself. Okay, we got our cheesecake ready. We got a nice sharp knife. Let's begin cutting. Now if you want a tip, if you want nice, clean slices, clean off this before you make every slice. This is gonna be a big slice. Uh-oh. Okay, nobody else is home. I guess I get the first slice. Oh baby. Look at that perfect slice. Come on, man. Ooh. Peanut butter cheesecake topped with Reese's Pieces and mini peanut butter cups. Oh, and the crust is made from Nutter Butters. My peanut butter lovers gonna love this. The first thing we're gonna do is make our crust. You're gonna need one family-sized package of Nutter Butter sandwich cookies and one package because we're gonna use the whole package to make our crust. And I honestly haven't had a Nutter Butter in like years, so just for old time's sake, I'm gonna try one. And yeah, it's really good. It's pretty good. It's a lot of peanut butter taste. I definitely think we could do better, so maybe we'll do that in another video. Okay, so minus the one that I ate, and you can eat one too. We're gonna put all of our Nutter Butters into a food processor, and we're going to crush them and grind them until they are a fine crumb. Add your Nutter Butter crumbs to a large bowl. Then we're gonna add 5 tablespoons of melted butter right to the crumbs. Mix that up until you sort of get like a wet, clumpy sand mixture. Then add that to a 9-inch springform cake pan. Take your time. You want to evenly spread this out throughout the base of the pan. You want to get it nice and even and flat. Once your crust is even on the bottom, you want to take something that's flat on the bottom and sort of round it up on the sides like a measuring cup or a glass, and use that to press some of your crust up on the side of your pan to create that border. Then we are going to bake our crust in a preheated 350-degree oven for about 8 to 10 minutes until it is firm. Then put it on the side to cool. Let's go over the ingredients for our cheesecake. We're going to need 4 8-ounce blocks of cream cheese at room temperature. You're going to need 4 large eggs, also at room temperature. Also, half a cup of sour cream, also at room temperature. You're going to need some vanilla extract, 1 1/4 cups of granulated sugar, and 1 cup of creamy peanut butter. As usual, all the ingredients will be in the description below. And if you're enjoying the video and you like what you see so far, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. First thing on the to-do list, add all of your room temperature cream cheese to a mixing bowl and add your 1 cup of peanut butter. Add that to your stand mixer with the paddle attachment, and you're going to mix this for about 30 seconds on medium speed. After that, stop to scrape down the sides of the bowl, then mix this again for another 30 seconds. Then we're going to add the sugar, the sour cream, and 2 heavy-handed teaspoons of vanilla extract. Let that mix on medium speed until everything is just barely combined. Crack all 4 of your eggs into a separate container, whisk those up, then slowly add them to your mixture while you're mixing on low speed. Do this until all the eggs are incorporated. After all your eggs are mixed in, your cheesecake batter should look pretty smooth. Now you're going to want to release some of those air bubbles that are trapped in your cheesecake batter, so you can either tap it on the counter a few times, or if you have neighbors and you don't want them to hate you, just tap it on the bottom a few times like I'm doing. Pour your cheesecake batter into your prepared crust, then it's time to bake. Now the baking method I like to use is for a no water bath method. It comes from lawrencelatest.com. I'll leave a link to her website in the description below, and I'll write out the full baking directions in the description below. Now after your cheesecake has baked and cooled in the fridge overnight, which it has for us, it should be the next day, which it is for us, I have a piping bag with my Wilton 1M tip, and in that piping bag I have half vanilla buttercream and half chocolate buttercream. Links also in the description if you need recipes for those as well. And from there, I'm going to go around the outer perimeter with my design, and they sort of look like little Hershey Kisses. I'm sure this design has some sort of exact name. If there's any bakers here, let me know in the comments what this type of design is called. And once our design is done, all around the top, we're going to decorate with some candies. We got some Reese's Pieces, of course, one of the best peanut butter candies in my opinion, and some of these mini milk chocolate peanut butter cups from Trader Joe's. The Reese's Pieces, I'm just going to make a border going around the perimeter in front of our buttercream. As for our mini chocolate peanut butter cups, I'm going to go in and drop one every here and there, you know, spice it up a bit. Boom, 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 and that's it. Our peanut butter cheesecake is done, looking good, looking too good to be true. You know I'm gonna have to dig into a piece of this. The Nutter Butter crust especially, you know I was more than excited to dig into this. And let me tell you, everything just melted into my mouth. That peanut butter cheesecake was so delightful. That crust especially is delicious. You know I had to get a second piece, but unfortunately, that's it for this video. That's it for me in this video. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. You know I will. Let's make Oreo no-bake cheesecake. 9x9 baking dish, lined with foil, 1 pound of Oreo. I gotta eat one now. Definitely the best store-bought cookie. Rest, we're gonna divide in half. Okay, we got exactly 22 cookies each. One half we're gonna coarsely chop and set aside. Second batch we're gonna finely crush in our food processor. We're gonna add 1/4 stick melted butter. Once you got something like this, put it into your baking dish, press it nice and firm, place it in the fridge while we make our filling. 4 8-ounce packages of cream cheese into a stand mixer bowl. Half a cup of sugar, vanilla, mix until smooth. Then we're gonna fold in 8 ounces of Cool Whip. Gently fold in your Oreo pieces. Then we're gonna spoon that over our crust. Okay, refrigerate overnight. Take this out. Here's our Oreo no-bake cheesecake. You need to make these for your next party.